Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Pop Council, right here on the Hollywood Critics Association's YouTube channel. I am one of your hosts, Wendy Lee, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Jami Philbrick. Hey, Jami.
Hey, Wendy, how are you?
I am doing well. I'm now in recovery mode from Comic-Con. We did it. 2022 Comic-Con in the books. Check. Done. We did it.
Good.
Yeah. On today's show, that's exactly what we're talking about. Everything that we learned from Comic-Con, all the trailers, all the announcements, so much more. But before we get into it, Jami, how was your weekend?
It was great. I was not at Comic-Con, but I feel like I was. I was just full on Comic-Con news coverage Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Got to see some of the stuff that came out, even remotely. I was able to see some of it and see some of the presentations and hear about it. Some very exciting, especially Saturday evening, some exciting news came our way. So yeah, it was super fun. But I have to say, I can't say that I necessarily missed being in the crowds and with all the protocols for COVID and all the other kind of craziness that was going down there. How did you survive it, and are you recovering well?
We were only there Thursday and Friday. I decided to not gamble with the current rising cases of COVID, and
Hmm.
apparently monkeypox. That's a thing as well now. So I was like, let's
The
not
thing.
let's not play. It was pretty crowded, but it was like regular Comic Con crowded. It didn't feel more crowded or less crowded than previous years, but they were very strict with the protocols. You were just talking about that. So before you could go and do anything, there is this orange wristband that you have to get before you even pick up your badge. And without that, you're not allowed anywhere at any Comic Con sanctioned event or activation. Like they were really strict about that. So I would say that was kind of one of the weirdest things to um, figure out. Luckily, there were maps and people pointing, telling you where to go. So we just found one, and the line was super short for those of us who download like the Clear Pass app, which was
Okay.
something that Comic Con had set on their website to do. So we did it the night before, and it took us less than 5 minutes to get the orange wristband. Some people waited a couple hours. I don't know what happened there, but we got
Mm.
ours quick, and then we went and picked up our badges. So we got it done within like 45 minutes, I think.
Oh, good. Oh, that's not
Yeah.
too bad.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
the
with like
reports.
stopping and stuff like that.
Yeah, reports I was hearing on Thursday was that it was ridiculous Thursday morning just trying to get in. But I'm glad that they got it kind of maybe ironed out through the weekend.
Yeah. They were smart about having multiple wristband distribution places. So I think some people didn't know that and they just saw a line and so they fell in line. You know how it is at Comic Con. You see a line.
Right.
What is this for? Okay, you just stand in it and you expect to wait. So that was no problem. The activations, there were fewer than previous years. I think there was only like 6 total.
Okay.
So we only did one of them because all the other ones, like even as press, some of them were harder to get into because you write back, hey, I like to RSVP for this, and you just get crickets.
Mm,
But we did do the Dungeons and Dragons
right.
Tavern experience, which is the one that I wanted to do the most, and that one was a lot of fun. But other than that, it was just a regular good old Comic Con with
Okay.
a lot of mask wearing. They definitely heavily enforced it inside. I Since
That's great though.
2020,
That's good.
yeah, I would say like 95% people were masked the whole time. Inside, honestly, it was rare for me to see somebody without a mask because somebody was
Yeah.
always saying like, "Hey, can you pull that up?" And then they have a very loud announcement that comes on. I felt like every 20 minutes or so over the floor that it was so loud it felt like it was yelling at you even though it was polite. It reminded you to wear your mask, to make sure you have it properly fit over your nose and mouth, and something else. So it's just like a constant reminder, and I felt like the attendees kind of got the message. We're like, we're in this together, let's all not get sick. Everybody
Right.
out wore the mask. I mean, outside it was kind of free for all, but inside it was all masks. So
Well,
I
that's
felt
good.
a
That's
little
good to
bit
hear.
better. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll find out if I am in the clear in a few days. Currently feeling great, feeling
Oh,
fine.
good.
Just a little like sore from all the walking around. But let's get into all the things that there is. You have reported Comic-Con, even though you weren't at Comic-Con, you still got to essentially hear about everything because you
I
had to
did.
report on it for
Yep.
the outlet. So let's go ahead and kick it off with the abundance of trailers that were released
Mm.
for Comic-Con this year. And just going down to the list to list them off, we had one for Dungeons and Dragon Honor Among Thieves, Black Adam, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, The Sandman, John Wick 4. I think there was one for House of the Dragon, but that was actually released a couple
That
days
was released before
prior to
Comic-Con. Yeah,
Comic
House of the
Con.
Dragon actually didn't have any new footage or new photos or anything. It was just strictly panel.
Yeah, I want to say in Hall H they were actually treated to like a sneak peek, or was that
Probably.
or I'm sure because they have to bring something right for the
Yeah.
attendees, and also Rings of Power got another trailer. So out of all the ones that I just listed, which one stood out to you the most? That got you most excited to say, I can't wait for this movie to come out?
Well, movie-wise, oh, that's a great one. I'm gonna go with one you didn't name, which I know
Oh,
we're gonna talk about
yes,
later,
I think that's
which
why I held
is
back. But go ahead.
yeah, but I mean, if you're asking me which trailer out of the whole weekend I thought was the best, it was, and I was surprised that I thought it was this good, but was Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I thought that was
The best.
gorgeous, just a great trailer. I didn't know what that movie was going to be. None of us really knew what they were going to do. Now we have a better idea. I really loved it. Just Shazam was good. It was good to see the Shazam. I like the tone. It fits with the tone of the first movie. Uh, Black Adam, I feel like we've seen. I don't think we saw anything in that trailer we hadn't seen in previous trailers.
Correct.
Um, and it's going to be out soon enough. I mean, really, all of them are. That was another thing that I thought was kind of interesting about this Comic-Con was like we didn't promote anything that's not, for the most part, opening in 2022.
Yeah.
Obviously we'll get to all the sort of logo announcements that Marvel did. But besides that, really everything, you know what I mean? And I was saying to someone this morning, like in 2019, Tom Cruise was there promoting Top Gun. Now, granted, it got delayed 2 years because of a pandemic, but it was still not a 2019 movie when he went to promote it. It was a 2020 movie. So it was really interesting that there was nothing outside of this year really that I can think of. Well, I guess except for early, with the Dungeons and Dragons, that's early 2023, but still pretty early 2023.
Yeah.
So that trailer was actually fun. That trailer actually got me, okay, maybe this movie will at least be better than the 2000 version of Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, I can't. And then again, it was interesting that Lord of the Rings and House of Dragon released trailers earlier in the week before Comic-Con. Even the Lord of the Rings TV trailer, Comic-Con trailer wasn't that different than the one that had just been released early in the week. So I feel like we've seen a lot of that stuff. Yeah, other than Wakanda, it didn't feel like a lot of things that we hadn't, really already known kind of how they were coming or when they were coming or what the tone or looks were going to be. But it's always good to get footage. So what footage we did get was great to get.
Absolutely. And I got to agree with you there. Out of all the trailers that was released during Comic-Con over the weekend, to me personally, Black Panther Wakanda Forever won that
Yeah.
because it was just so cinematically beautiful. And we were all very curious about how that movie is going to, what were they going to give us in the movie? Because we all know the elephant in the room is that unfortunately
Right.
Chadwick Boseman is no longer in the world with us. So how are they handling it through the movie, and what hints are we going to get at who will be playing Black Panther? But we are going to save all of that Marvel talk towards the end of the show. I would say the other trailers that I really enjoyed, probably, and I don't even know if this was technically like a Comic-Con release, but John Wick 4 looked fantastic.
So that's interesting. I think technically it was not.
Technically it was not, but it came out over the weekend.
But it did become one because so that was really interesting. So like Thursday they don't have any John Wick thing planned at Comic-Con, and there had been no announcement yet, right? And then they dropped the first photo on Thursday. And so even covering it, I'm like, do I brand this Comic-Con? Is it not Comic-Con? I
You
don't
should
really
have,
know.
because Keanu was there
Well,
anyways.
yeah, so I did, but I actually held it till Friday, and then
Ah.
Keanu shows up at, I guess it was a Collider directors thing that
Uh-huh.
Chad was at, that panel. So
Okay.
Keanu wasn't supposed to appear. He showed up and then dropped the trailer. So I think in a
Oh.
sense we can say that the trailer dropped at Comic-Con, because technically it did. There
Yes.
wasn't necessarily a
Like a
John Wick
panel
4
for
panel, but yes, there was, because that Collider thing, Keanu stayed and it kind of became that. So
yeah.
it was
Oh, he
sort of an
stayed.
yeah, and answer some questions. So it was sort of an
Ah.
unofficial, impromptu. So you could sort of make the argument that it was dropped at Comic Con, but I liked that trailer as well. Would have liked to seen a little bit more.
Mhm.
I didn't feel like I got enough of what the story is, other than what we
Mhm.
knew from where the third one left off. But
Right.
um, still cool seeing Keanu as John Wick.
Yeah, absolutely. Always great seeing Keanu as John Wick. So that got me very excited because I was expecting, epic fight scenes, and that's exactly what we got in just
Yep.
little snippets. And then of course, the Dungeons and Dragons trailer I really liked because I wasn't sure. We've talked about this previously on other episodes. What kind of tone they were going to take with Dungeons and Dragons? Is it going to be super serious, or is it going to have a little bit of fun? It looks like there's a good mix. It leans a little bit more on the fun side, but like I like that. If anybody ever played D&D, like it's about fun. Yes, it can get serious, but because there's stakes and stuff, but I
Well,
like
I'd
the
say
vibe
they're
of it.
taking the Marvel route, right?
Mm,
They're Marvelizing it. They're making
mm,
it they're taking it seriously, the subject matter. It's not a joke,
yes. Right.
but there's humor in it, and there's drama, and there's action, and there's, everything, sort of the four quadrants that you'd
Yeah.
want. Um,
Yeah. Absolutely. And
we'll
D&D is,
we'll see.
chaotic. If you ever anybody ever played a game, D&D is so chaotic in the best way possible. So I look forward to, honestly, like watching all the trailers. It gets me really excited for all the titles that are coming up, even though some of the footage we have already seen snippets of. It's still
Right.
really cool to experience all of that through Comic-Con. So you guys in the comment section, let us know if there's any trailers that really piqued your interest, where you weren't so sure about this movie or this title or property, and after you've seen the trailer you're like, oh, I might check that out, put that on my list. So
Well, Wendy, can I also mention
yes,
the She-Hulk trailer?
yes, please.
Because uh again, I think the show drops in 3 or 4 weeks, so we're
Mm-hmm.
pretty close to it. And we had seen a teaser before, but what I liked about this was, obviously we were confirmed that Emil Brodsky is coming back, the Abomination. Got to see a little bit more of Smart Hulk, which I liked. Although it still makes me try to figure out where this falls, because the end credit scene of Shang-Chi shows that he's no longer Smart Hulk, and that he still
Right.
has the arm in a sling from Thanos from the end of
Uh-huh.
Endgame. So, oh, was there an earthquake?
No, it was me being clumsy and not almost knocking over my entire thing of coffee.
That's what I figured, but I was like, oh no, it's an earthquake. Uh, so yeah, because that's really interesting to me. Like, is there some time jumps here? Was there a time? How does that kind of fit in? Because the Smart Hulk we're seeing, he's Smart Hulk, and his arm looks to be completely healed. So, can Bruce kind of turn it on, turn it off? Like, I don't know. So those are some questions that'll be interesting to be answered. But I loved that, because I don't remember seeing this in the first teaser, that it does look like there is a breaking of the fourth wall, which is,
Yes.
that's part of the source material from one of the runs of She-Hulk comics, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
would fall in with, we know, another Marvel character that breaks the fourth wall, who is
Oh
going to get a
yeah.
third film at some point. So
Yes.
that's all interesting. And then, of course, everyone went nuts when they saw what appears to be Daredevil at the end of the trailer.
In a stinking
So
new costume. Well,
yeah,
new for the
new
for
to
the
us.
show. It's
Yeah, new
yeah,
to
it's not.
MCU.
Yeah, it's not a brand new. Here's a photo of Tatiana Maslany breaking that fourth wall
Right,
during that
right.
trailer. Uh, you know, I I was looking forward to the show because I am a big fan of Tatiana Maslany. I loved her in Orphan Black. I think she's really fantastic. So when she signed on and then denied and then was like then confirmed for the project. I was very excited. And I remember seeing the very first bit of was like a teaser or something like that. And to me, when she was She-Hulk in her She-Hulk form, the CGI looked a little iffy to me. There was something with the hair and the eyes that I was like, I'm not sure. I felt that it looked better in this trailer, and this show premieres, I think, in about a little bit less than a month or so. So I imagine they are going to continue to fine tune it until the final product is greenlit and good to go for
I think it needs
distribution.
a little more work. It looks better, but
Yeah,
it still needs a
it does.
little
Yeah,
more tweaking.
they're progressing, and it's
Yeah.
a thing that they're constantly fixing. I'm not gonna, like, that's not gonna bother me too much. It's already, to my eyes, it's already improved quite a bit from the very first time, and I imagine that they will continue to fine tune that. So I am excited just for, I like the tone, I like her. I am excited to see what kind of role Daredevil is going to play in this. So yeah, very much looking forward to it. And we'll have some more Daredevil talk a little bit later in the
Mm.
show. But with that, let me just go back to our show notes here. Let's talk about some animation, because there was an animation panel, Marvel animation panel, that talked about I Am Groot, Spider-Man freshman year. Let's see, Marvel's What If Season 2, and then some. Marvel Zombies and X-Men 97 to kind of round off the panel there. Did you happen to see the of course you did, but the what did you think of the trailer for I Am Groot?
Oh yeah. So I had sort of, I guess, counted out I Am Groot. I was like, oh, this is a kids thing. It's probably going to be, I was kind of in my own head when it was, because I believe it was announced a while ago at like Disney Day last year. And I sort of saw it in my mind as kind of like a Disney Plus, like, do you know the Forky series they did from Toy
Yes,
Story 4?
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to kind of be like that, like a, I hate to say this, but just a sort of a cheap animation, little kitty thing. This looks like a real like Groot movie, right? Like,
So cute.
yeah, and it obviously plays on Gulliver's Travels, and there's
Uh-huh.
and Groot's so small that the idea that there's people smaller, the creature smaller than him is funny. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Like, I'll totally watch this. I think they're going to be pretty short episodes too.
Yeah, and there's only
Um
5 in the collection as well,
yeah,
so
and
I'm
I
very
don't think
curious.
they're even that long. Like, I want to say they're maybe 5 to 10 minute episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think and I love Groot, and it looks really cute.
It does look really cute. The fact that he got scared in the trailer when the little meepers were defending their home turf, and he plopped over and he farted a little leaf. That was not what I was expecting, but it also wasn't so out of the left field because it's Groot. So whatever they give me, I'll take because he
And
just looks so cute doing it.
correct me if I'm wrong, but this marks Vin Diesel's first television series, does it not?
Has he not been in a TV series?
I don't think
And
he's ever been in a TV
oh,
series.
only movies. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Via Groot. That's gonna be fun. I just can't wait to see how many other ways he can say I am
Right. Yeah,
Groot.
exactly.
It's like the only voiceover show that does not need copy because it's either I am Groot or we are Groot.
Well, that's what I've always wondered too, is like, does Vin come back and re-record for this, or do we just reuse the
Oh,
line that he's been doing since 2000 and I don't know, 14 or whatever, whenever the first movie came out, right?
yeah, that's
Like, how many
interesting.
variations on it do you need?
50 million.
Well, I'm sure, they can tweak it to make it sound, I don't know. I don't know how much re-recording is needed of 3 words, but we'll
Hmm.
see.
Yeah. And another title that was unveiled during this animation panel is Spider-Man Freshman Year, which is going to be on Disney Plus in 2024. And this will actually feature Daredevil in it as well, which totally makes sense to me. If they're kind of keeping everything in the MCU cohesive, we already know that Peter Parker met Charlie Cox as the lawyer, but they don't know that he is Daredevil. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. But this is set to arrive again on Disney Plus in 2024, and it's going to have a second season as well, which is going to be called Sophomore Year. So I mean, I would love all 4 seasons. We can just go through all the years: freshman,
Yep.
sophomore, junior, senior, and I love Spider-Man. So this is exciting. But I'm kind of bummed that we didn't get a trailer for this, or even
Well,
just a. I mean, I guess it's kind of early.
yeah, but in theory, this is the Tom Holland Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man, right?
I would
And
assume so.
and so isn't he a junior by Homecoming? So I feel like we wouldn't
Uh
really
huh.
need a junior year and a
Ooh.
senior year because we've already sort of
Ah,
seen
that's
the
true.
junior and senior years.
That's true.
Um, and then
Good
my
point.
other question becomes, I was under the understanding
Mhm.
that he meets Matt Murdock for the first time in No Way Home.
It
So if
seems like it, yes.
that right, it seemed like it.
Yeah.
So either they're going to have to sort of retcon how he knew him previously,
Well, it says here that it
or
says Daredevil.
that was the last thing I was going to say, or he's
Okay.
only meeting him as Daredevil and
And
not
not,
as Matt Murdock. Yep,
I think you got that right there. Yeah.
yep. And
So
then
something,
that could play in because there's nothing to say that Spider-Man didn't know who, hadn't worked with a guy named Daredevil, or Daredevil didn't exist. Like there's been
right.
nothing in canon to point to the other way, so that
Yep.
that can retcon and kind of like totally work. And it
Absolutely.
also tells me, and I don't want to jump ahead, but
Hmm.
Matt Murdock's here to stay, and Charlie
Oh,
Cox
yeah.
is here to stay. Moving forward, they Marvel has plans for Daredevil and big plans in the MCU for Daredevil and Charlie Cox.
I completely agree. I think for us fans, to finally know that Charlie Cox is like absolutely 100% confirmed to be coming back to have parts in not just the MCU but also, his own show on Disney Plus. Like that's very exciting because I really loved the Daredevil Netflix
Me
series.
too.
I loved all the Marvel, well, not all. I loved
Not
most.
all. We
I
didn't love
loved
all.
most.
Well, and that was what I was going to say too. Is like, I love the Charlie, and it's sort of a different conversation, but I love that Charlie
Mhm.
Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are back, and
Yes.
I gotta believe that John Bernthal is going to come back as the Punisher at some point. We've
Yes,
heard
please.
some Kristen Ritter rumors about Jessica Jones. I can't imagine they wouldn't want to bring back Mike Coulter
Oh,
for Luke
yeah.
Cage. Those are such, to me, I mean, really, those four characters right there are four of my favorite Marvel characters of all time. And so to
Yeah.
not have them be part of the Marvel universe because you didn't like the deal you made with Netflix, you know what I mean? And then these characters are hurt by it. I'm glad that we're looking past that and getting them back. So the question is really going to be, and I don't think anyone's expecting Iron Fist. No one wants Iron Fist to come back. No one's expecting it. So don't worry about that. We're just all Marvel fans are going to call that a wash and pretend that never happened. But don't leave Mike Coulter and Luke Cage and
Yes.
Jessica Jones and the really good characters, and maybe even uh, Colleen,
Oh, yes, Colleen
right?
Wong. Yes,
Colleen
I
Wong.
I I need her.
So there are some characters and certainly some actors that I think they really need to bring in, because I would really love to see those characters interacting in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I totally agree. So we will have to wait and see, but it's always good news to know that, one of the characters from that Netflix series is going to be coming back and on Disney Plus. We're also going to be getting another season of Marvel's What If, and this is announced for early 2023, and they went ahead and confirmed season 3. Does this excite you, because you enjoyed What If, right?
Loved it. Yeah, no, I'm excited for him. I'm excited for the Marvel Zombies spinoff, which was
Yes.
also talked about. And I do wish and they may not know yet, but I wish they had announced a few more like characters that we're going to see in the upcoming seasons. The only one I heard about, maybe you heard more, was a confirmation that Hela would return in Whether that would be voiced by Kate Blanchett or not, I didn't
Ooh,
hear quite confirmation on that. But that when
that's
we
interesting.
reported that that was announced, that Hella was announced at the What If panel, but
Ooh, I love
I
it.
don't know if anyone else was.
See, that's what's so cool about these what if series is it takes the characters that we know and love, and some of them, may not exist technically in the MCU anymore, but
Right.
the what if brings them back, and it's a whole different ball game, and that's what gets me really excited about the series. And I love that we're having a third season, because a lot of the Disney Plus Marvel shows are like one-offs, one season and they're done, other than Loki and now what if, and as well as the Spider-Man animated series. So that's all really good news. And then on top of that, they rounded out with X-Men 97, which is, I think, we're, all the X-Men fans are excited to
That's the
have that
one.
come back. Yes,
That's the one
that's the
I'm
one.
really excited about. Again, I wish they had shown a little bit more, talked about a little bit more. It was really just the tease.
Yeah,
And,
just the
same
title and
tease that we've been getting
logo.
for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But obviously we saw a little bit of that in Doctor Strange. And I
Yes.
think we even heard a little of the theme during the last episode of Miss Marvel. So, I
Mhm.
think whatever they're planning to do with the X-Men in the MCU in the future, they're starting in little places, and it's obviously going to you know have a big role to play in the future.
Absolutely. So, a lot to look forward to on the animated side of things. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into, I think, what we're here to kind of gush over and talk about Marvel's Hall H presentation. And they didn't just give us what is coming up for phase five, but they gave us six as well. So, there's a lot to go over here. Let me
Parts
see. I
of
think
six. It's not all of six.
parts of six.
Right.
Absolutely, you're right. So let's take a look at. I have, here we go, Mr.
There's
Kevin Feige.
Kevin.
Yep, take it with another baseball cap.
Oh yeah.
I bet you he has like a room where
A
it's
room
just
of just baseball caps for sure.
he loves the
Well,
caps.
what is that cap? Because I can't see what
Miss Minute.
okay, because I remember in 2019 at Comic Con he was wearing the Black Widow hat.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think he gets one for every production, is my guess.
Which is like so cool. It's just a collection of hats that he gets to wear. But go ahead and take a look at, well, we know how phase four is ending. We're ending it with Black Panther 2, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We got the trailer for that Saturday evening. Did it get you in the feels, Jamie, when you watched that trailer after Angela Bassett's line?
That was the one. That was the
That's
line.
it.
That was
That
the
did it
line
for
that
me.
you nailed it. That was exactly the moment. Yep, 100%. And I have to say, and I apologize because I don't know who the performer was, but the cover version of Bob Marley's "No Woman, No
Oh
Cry."
my
That's what that
gosh.
was. It was a cover version of "No Woman, No Cry," and perfect marriage of like the music, the mood, the moment, that line, her performance, all of our feelings towards losing Chadwick and losing, in a sense, losing T'Challa as well.
Yeah.
As a character. So yeah, that was the moment. That was when the trailer really hit home.
Yeah, I
And
was doing
also,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, go. Well, I was just gonna add that fact. It tells you how amazing that moment was because we're talking about that and not the reveal of Namor, which in any
I
other,
know.
nerd world, that's the story, right? Is
Yeah.
that they, sort of casually confirmed him finally. Um,
Yes.
but that's not even the best part of the trailer, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know. And I was doing so well too. As soon as the music kicked in at the very beginning of the trailer, I went, "Oh, am I in trouble?" And when she said her line, and they made sure they put that after Namor's appearance.
Right.
But she said it, and it got me so good that I just I just cried through the rest of that trailer there. And it's interesting what she says, that my entire family is gone. So I'm curious as to what happened that she thinks Shuri is gone too.
I've thought about that too.
Yeah,
I
I
thought about that
wonder
too.
Yeah, I wonder what it could be.
Right.
So not only we got Namor in this trailer, we already knew that we were going to see her in this, played by Dominic Thorne, Riri Williams, and she's
Real
hammering
quick,
out
can I
her.
just add
Yes,
back to the Shuri part? I just want to
yes,
say, like, it could also mean, like, it may mean I lost my family. Like, loss doesn't necessarily have to equate death. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like,
yes,
she could have, maybe there's a fight and Shuri's not part of the family, and
around.
I just want to, yeah,
Oh,
like, leave the option over
interesting.
that I've lost my entire family. Is that not enough?
Right.
Lost can have loss can
Mm,
have different meanings. So maybe she
absolutely.
lost her as her daughter, or as her ally, as a, who knows. Doesn't necessarily mean that Shuri dies.
Yeah. And I don't think she does. I just wonder if there was like an incident that happened where Shuri's not found for a little bit, so she
But
just,
I
went
thought the
ahead and
same
assumed
thing
the
too,
worst.
because she doesn't say I lost my husband and my father, my son. She says I've lost my whole family, and she could also just be meaning my whole, not really mean whole family, but I lost my
Like the big
family.
chunk of it is gone.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
gone. Yeah.
Who knows?
So
Yeah, what the meaning is behind that.
yes, and thank you very much to MK Songbird, who says the artist credited on that song on Spotify is Thames. Hopefully, I'm saying that
Oh,
right. It's spelled
oh,
Tems.
Thames. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you for looking that up, MK Songbird.
But you were
Yeah.
mentioning Rory.
I was just Riri. She
Oh,
just, I mean,
Riri.
it
Yeah,
was two very quick shots of her hammering out her iron heart, but I thought that was just a treat. And like a nice little break as we saw her, because that trailer was pretty solemn. Like
yeah.
I was in my feels well after I saw that trailer. So to me, that one, it just, I've been very curious about Black Panther 2. You and I have talked about the production problems, the delays,
Right.
the injuries that Letitia Wright sustained on set while performing some stunt sequences. It's all kind of very concerning. Like, oh, how is it looking? How big of a scale are they going? And having seen this trailer, I'm feeling, well, I mean, let's just say I can't wait to see that on the big screen.
Yeah. It looks like it's all coming together. In Ryan Coogler,
Absolutely.
we trust.
Yes. Yes, we do. So that is how Phase 4 is going to end. We'll be getting She-Hulk very soon on Disney Plus in less than a month. And then after that, we will have Wakanda Forever. And then Kevin Feige went ahead and revealed Phase 5. I believe I have a photograph here, so we can all take a look at Phase 5. We're just kicking things off with Quantum Mania, and then we're diving into Secret Invasion, which will be a series on Disney Plus. Then we've got Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the film. And then going back to the Disney Plus side, Echo and Loki season 2. We've got the Marvels coming out. We've got Blade. Now we have a date for that. We have Ironheart, a Disney Plus series. Agatha, what is that? The Covenant of Chaos.
Covenant of Chaos. Yeah.
Ah, so good. And one of the most exciting thing, but we're gonna circle back to it real quick, so I'm just gonna say it. We've got Daredevil on Disney Plus, Captain America, New World Order, and Thunderbolts. So, Jamie, we got to talk about. We've already started talking about Charlie Cox and his return
Yes.
as Daredevil. This is going to be an 18 episode series
That
on Disney
surprised
Plus,
me. That's the longest they've done.
right? It's more than double the length
A
of
trip.
any.
Yeah. And all of
It's
them.
so good.
That's longer than like 3 or 4 of the shows put together.
Yeah, I think before this, WandaVision was probably the only longest one
And
at 9
9. Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so finally, and I am so happy to hear that is going to be 18 episodes. I think Daredevil is not this, like, with the character in the story and where we've seen Daredevil his journey in the Netflix shows. I just don't feel like a 6 episode series would have done that character justice. And already, usually when you and I get to the end of a Disney Plus show, what do we say? We always say we wish there were more.
Filler. Well, wish
Yeah.
there were more. Yeah, I mean, but even with some of the Disney Plus shows, I feel like even with the 6 episode ones, there's always one episode of filler, or 2 sometimes. In the case of my feelings of Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you remember the Netflix Daredevil series, I believe they were 13 episodes each. So 18 is still way longer than like the
Yeah.
original series did. And I loved the Netflix series, but being honest, like there's definitely were 2 or 3 episodes of filler in those
Yeah.
13 episode seasons. I think they probably could have been 9, 10, or 11 would have been a little bit better.
Yes.
So 18 for season 1, I mean, I'm open to it, but I'm a little concerned. I think, 11 might have been good,
Yeah.
but 12, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
clearly they have it. I just hope it's not a like, I hope they don't do the like, here's season 1, part 1. And next year we'll give you season, like The Boys and Stranger Things and some of these other.
Oh.
I don't want Disney Plus to start getting into
Just
that.
give us the 18. Like
I
all
mean,
at
Disney Plus doesn't drop them all at once, so we'll get them.
No, right,
But
weekly.
don't give me a 6-month break in between
Yeah,
the
I don't
first
want
half
that.
and the second half, which is a
Correct.
trend that I've seen happening. So that's
Yeah.
my concern. Yeah.
I agree. I don't want that format. I want the current format. Just give us all
Right.
the episodes as they come weekly.
Yep.
And then when it ends and that ends, and then if there happens to be a second season, which would be great, then give us that. But yeah, don't cut your season 1 in half. That would not be I personally wouldn't want that. And
And we
a
know
couple
Vincent D'Onofrio's coming back. It'll be interesting to see, like we were
yes.
talking about before, if they use this show as an opportunity to bridge the Netflix gap and get those guys into the MCU proper.
Yeah, so we'll see how they play that out. And before we see Charlie Cox return in his own series, we already know that he's going to be in She-Hulk, but he will be in Echo as well.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how big of a role he has in that show. So it's all very, very, very exciting. And then one of the things that I noticed when they were talking about the first thing to be released in Phase 5, which is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, is we're going to have Kang the Conqueror and MODOK in that.
Yep.
The MODOK surprised me. I wasn't so surprised by Kang because he had been introduced and confirmed. We've already seen a version of Kang in Loki, so I figured, it's before long. So Quantumania kind of, to me, makes sense. But MODOK, I was kind of caught off guard, but I love it.
I wasn't expecting it, but it doesn't shock me. Like it
Right.
fits in with the weirdness of that movie and what they're probably doing.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is, we saw just a little shot of him in the clips that they showed.
Mhm.
Will it be Patton Oswalt who voices him on the Hulu cartoon?
That's what I was wondering too.
Or, and I think, could it be Bill Murray? Because we know he's in the movie. He was confirmed. We know he's playing a villain in the movie.
Oh.
But we don't know who.
Oh,
I don't know. Could he be the voice? Could we see him normal in the beginning of the movie and then he becomes Maddox by the end? I don't know.
Huh. Well, that's possible too. I really hadn't thought of it.
Completely separate.
And a whole nother, just
But
lots of villains.
But then the question becomes who is playing him?
Yeah. Like who else would make sense to fit into this? I guess it could be a multiple. If we do some research, we can probably find a couple of villain that fits the bill. But this is nonetheless super exciting. And we'll have Scott Lang's daughter in this as well. And she's, revealed in the poster. She's got her own suit. So looking forward to Catherine Newton getting in on the action there for that movie. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We know this is the last one for James Gunn. Like his chapter for Guardians of the Galaxy is coming to an end. And that panel or that segment of the Marvel presentation was pretty emotional. The cast were watching the footage that they got to see, only Comic-Con attendees only. And they were quite emotional talking about that and seeing that. And let's see, they're confirmed to have High Evolutionary. That is, for me, that's a deep cut because I wasn't even sure when they, the footage of him walking through the convention, or not the convention floor, but through Hall H onto the stage in his costume. I'm like, what is so? But it makes sense for this character to kind of be put in the Guardians of the Galaxy universe. Yeah. What were your thoughts on all of this detail coming out for Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting. Forgetting the actress's name, but Borat's daughter,
Mm, mm.
Unfortunately, she'll probably be always known as Borat's daughter. But she's gonna be now. They said that she's gonna be Cosmo the space dog.
Oh, Maria.
Yeah, but I'm unclear. Like, is she the voice, or like, is she actually like mode captioning the dog?
She probably can do both. Kind of they do something similar with Rocket where Sean Gunn kind
Yeah,
of does like the
but
mocap
we've
part
seen him
for
when we
Rocket.
saw him in the first one. It was a dog playing a dog.
Yes. Oh, that's true. So maybe just
So
voice then.
yeah, I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see
Mhm.
that. So that was interesting. And then obviously we knew about Adam Warlock. Yeah, I mean, what's interesting for me is like I'll be curious to see if Guardians 3 ends the way, like, if this was what James Gunn always intended, because we
Right.
knew that this movie was supposed to come out 2 years ago, or maybe
Mhm.
3 years ago, but obviously he got fired from Disney, had to go make, didn't have to, but it went to make Suicide Squad. Then he was in a contract, so this movie got pushed back, and then it got pushed back even farther because of the pandemic. So, like, was his original trilogy to take place before Endgame would have happened, after Endgame? Like, was it
Ooh,
always
good
part of his plan?
question.
Like, was it always part of James Gunn's plan that when, if I understand this correctly, when this third movie starts, our Gamora is dead, and
Yes.
the Gamora that's running around is a Gamora from the past that doesn't know anything that happened. I mean, was that always his intention, or did he
That's
have to kind
interesting.
of deal with the Marvel machine moving along, making
Mhm.
Guardians decisions without him when he was either not involved or kind of run out for a minute?
Yeah,
It's
that's
interesting.
interesting. That's something interesting to think about, and I'm sure we'll get more details about that, when they start doing press for the film. I
Yeah.
hope somebody asks. If you get to talk to James Gunn, please ask him for us
I certainly would. Yeah, I
and let
just,
us
yeah, I'm
know.
interested if that's his, if what we're gonna see was his initial idea for it, or if he had to work with decisions that the Russo brothers and Marvel made when he wasn't really in the brain trust.
Mhm. I feel like there was some sort of a report that when he was no longer on the project, they were still going to use his script. I remember
Right.
hearing that, but you're right about the timeline and all of that stuff, and then because of the pandemic, how many changes did they have to make
And I
to
think I
the
heard, like,
script?
during Endgame, that the Russo, even if maybe he wasn't in with Disney at the time, the Russos did still talk to him. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm making that up, but I feel like I heard that somewhere.
I feel like but that makes sense to me that the directors would
Right.
collaborate and to make sure. I think Taika said not that specific thing, but Taika said
Right.
that, working on it, everybody was always in conversation to make sure the universe is still cohesive.
But at some point when some of these movies were being made, he wasn't in the group anymore. I mean, I don't remember how
Uh-huh.
long that really, I mean, it was a few months at least,
It
right?
was a few months at least,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a
And then he
few
went and
months
made
that he was
Suicide Squad and then Peacemaker.
right. Exact
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So looking forward to that, and I imagine if the cast was pretty emotional talking about this, us as the audience is going to feel that as well when we finally get to see the film. Um, and I'm excited to know that Blade finally has a date ish. It's going to be November 2023, and then Agatha Coven of Chaos. That's the official title for the spin-off show for Agatha, who we got to meet in WandaVision. It wasn't there was a different title before. It was like the House of Who
Yeah, it
knows, or
was
something like that.
House of Darkness, I think.
House of Darkness, and they changed
Yeah.
it to Coven of Chaos, which I kind of like better.
Interesting.
Coven tells me there's going to be more than just one witch involved. At least three makes a coven, I believe. So
Mm,
yeah, and a little chaos magic. She talks about that with Wanda. So I am looking forward to everything that we have coming up for Phase 5. And for the audience, here is a little map of what it looks like. And with that, let's go ahead and move on to we got some time in the show left to talk about Phase 6. So
ooh,
Jamie, you mentioned
did we talk Thunderbolts yet, though? Did we mention
oh no, we
Thunderbolts?
got to talk Thunder when
Oh,
we
yeah,
mentioned it.
we can't skip
Yeah,
Thunderbolts.
we like mentioned it, but let's go ahead and
Okay.
dive into Thunderbolt. Who Who do we
Yes.
think?
Yes. I can tell you 2 for sure.
Okay, tell me.
Definitely Tim Roth, because they
Okay.
would not be setting up. They've been setting him up since Shang-Chi. They would not have
Yes.
been setting him up. Clearly Agatha, because they would not set her up with her own show right before
Wait a
without.
minute. Oh.
Yeah, clearly Agatha. And then this is just my wish list and guessing. The Nick Fury of the team will be Contessa, Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Okay, right?
Okay, you with me?
Yep.
Then we got Abomination, Agatha, the new Black Widow, Florence Pugh,
Uh-huh.
U.S. Agent,
Yep.
Baron Zemo,
Oh, yeah.
and Justin Hammer.
Stop.
That's my deep. The Justin Hammer is just a guess from my point of view, but it's Sam Rockwell. He has an Oscar now. Marvel would love to work with
Gosh,
him.
I do love Sam
Bring that
Rockwell.
character back. I think that character could have a big role with Ironheart or Armored Wars. Certainly with Armored Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of. And there's others. I mean, you could throw in other names, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what I came up
Ooh.
with. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I did not have Justin Hammer on my Thunderbolt
And your
bingo
bingo
card. No, not at all. I'm gonna have to write him
And
in.
he can remember he came back in that short with Ben Kingsley. So he has appeared since Iron Man
Ah.
2.
Oh no, and now I want it. I really
He
like Sam Rockwell so
stole
much.
he stole Justin
Ah,
Hammer to be is the best part of Iron Man 2.
gosh, I
So
want
yeah,
it.
that would be pretty exciting.
Gosh, Marvel, make it happen.
So we'll see. We'll see. But there's a
We'll
lot
see.
of villains that could be. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd love to throw if Killmonger wasn't dead, I would have thrown him on that
Yeah,
list.
for real. Yeah, and I think another one that people speculate is Ghost, who we met in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ghost is a good one. Ghost I
Yeah.
meant to put on there. And the other one I was thinking about, but I took off because I can't really remember what ended up happening with this
Mm.
character, which
Mhm.
was I love Taskmaster on there. But what
Oh,
happened?
Taskmaster could show up. I think they went with the rest
I
of
thought
the
she
widows
dies.
after.
She doesn't.
No, no, no. I don't.
I
I think
can't remember.
she's fine. But
Okay.
oh, okay. I would put her on your bingo card.
I'd love to see that, but I just
Yeah.
couldn't remember how her story ended in Black Widow.
Yeah.
And also Black Widow being so far back, it's halfway through phase 3.
Yeah.
But again, I guess we're calling back Justin Hammer from phase 1. So yeah.
So why not?
So yeah, why not?
Once
Yep.
you're in the Marvel fam, you don't really exit the Marvel fam.
No, I mean, technically speaking, Tim Roth performed his character before the Marvel Universe was born.
This is
Because
true.
Iron Man was shot, or Hulk was shot. His Hulk was shot while Iron Man was shot.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then came after. So
That's
technically,
right.
he wasn't even part of the Marvel Universe.
Absolutely correct. Ooh, man, I'm gonna have to sleep on that Justin Hammer name
Mm-hmm.
for a while. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely adding that to my bingo card. I didn't even think about it. Maybe I should look further back and think about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
How far back we could go with some
Yeah,
of these.
let's go back to phase 1 and see
Red
and see
Skull,
what happens.
Red Skull
You guys, let us know when you're watching this on the VOD. Let us know in the comment section who your Thunderbolt team would be. Put that in the comments as we move on to phase 6 with a little bit of time left on the show here. Jami, you mentioned earlier there is tons of gap that's not filled.
Yep.
They only technically gave us 3 title reveals.
Really, it's the beginning and the end, really.
Yeah, just the beginning and the end. There's a lot of gaps in the middle to fill. There's said to be 11 projects in total, but the big things are we're kicking off phase 4 for the film side with Fantastic Four, and we are ending phase 4 with Avengers movies. I am honestly surprised that we're getting Avengers movies so soon. I really wasn't expecting it in phase 6, but I love it. I am not complaining here. And the titles, The Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. That movie is going to be absolutely bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It makes sense. They are I this is just going to be huge. And I imagine all the gaps are left because Disney's D23 is coming up. So maybe we'll get a little bit more of the the blanks filled in during
Maybe.
that to see what else they'll reveal. And I am hoping that we're going to get to see some X-Men titles in those blank spots. What do you think?
That would be great. I mean, listen, we're starting off with Fantastic Four. We know that
Yeah.
that's an important, to get in there. The fact that this overall second saga is called the
Mhm.
Multiverse Saga
Mhm.
makes me think maybe there might be, and the fact that we're ending with Secret Wars, which from the comics is a very multiverse comic
Right.
because it's different versions of characters from different universes fighting each other. Uh, it makes me think that it's possible this Fantastic Four may not be maybe a Fantastic Four introduced from another universe, another multiverse, or something like that. It doesn't
Ooh.
necessarily have to be our multiverse's
Oh,
Fantastic Four.
interesting. Okay.
Um, but since we saw the Reed Richards of 813 or whatever that was in Doctor Strange
Right.
get killed, it's
Yeah.
not going to be him. But
Right.
I think that's kind of open, but one would think that this will be our Fantastic Four. I think that they're going to find a way to ground them in the history of the MCU, like they were always there, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I feel like they're going to probably do that with the mutants as well. But
Mhm.
great to open up this final saga with that. Um, I do think with Secret Wars, fans should be prepared that it's not going to be a faithful adaptation necessarily. If you look at the way Marvel has adapted seminal storylines from the comics, Civil War the movie is not Civil War the comic. They're very different.
Yeah.
But you
Mhm.
can see the DNA in there. Winter Soldier, there's a couple other, ones you can draw from. So you can see but I wouldn't expect this to be like a really faithful adaptation of Secret Wars. I think
Right.
it'll be more the idea of Secret Wars and then they adapt it to whatever their MCU thing that's going on. What is interesting to me, well, two things you said. One is you were surprised that we're getting Avengers movies this early.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised, the end of 2 phases from now that,
Mhm.
that's still quite a ways away. So I wouldn't say I'm surprised it's that quick. I'm surprised 4 is ending so quickly.
It feels like it went by quite fast.
Yeah, we're almost, the end of
Does
this
it
year,
is
4
it
is
because we're
over.
in a
So
time
that
crunch, like, from because we feel
right,
weird
well,
from
that could be
COVID?
part of it too.
Yeah.
That could be part of it too. But that feels quick, and so you know, listen, you got to get some Avengers movies. And now the other
Yes.
thing that's interesting is if you look at phase 1, 2, and 3, an Avengers film ended each of those 3 phases. We're not
Yeah.
getting any more Avengers movie. They're just going to end the whole saga. We're not even getting an Avengers film in phase 4 or 5,
No.
which is different than 1, 2, 3. So that's interesting.
Mhm.
Now, let's go to this. Who will be the Avengers in Kang Dynasty? And I also think the team won't be the same
Oh,
in
no.
Secret Wars, right? Because that's
No.
how we saw that similar in Endgame, Infinity War, Endgame.
There are stakes and there will be losses.
If you go by phase 1 and
Mhm.
that the lead characters of every movie became Avengers by
Mhm.
the end, one would think that Sam Wilson, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, whoever Black Panther is,
Mhm.
Ant-Man, Wasp, Shang-Chi, and Blade will be the new Avengers. However, in the first saga, we didn't have to deal with Disney Plus characters.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So
I was
that
waiting
leaves
for it.
us Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Daredevil, Miss Marvel, and Ironheart as also possible. I'm not quite sure where Don Cheadle's Rhodey is. Does he,
Oh, I think
is
he'd be a part of it.
Namor?
Don't
Now,
forget
Namor is
Loki.
never really an Avenger in the comics.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So yeah, you have Namor in there, and yeah, Loki. I'm gonna put him to the side as sort of a
Just because
villain,
he's
and
well,
and this is our variant Loki. It's a different
yeah,
Loki
it's a
than the other
different
Loki.
Loki.
We're just gonna put
But
him in his own category.
I think I'm connecting it because, and this is just literally playing off the titles as the Kang Dynasty, and he is one of the firsts that we know of
That's a
to
good
meet
point.
a version of Kang. So not that I'm
That's a
like
good
betting
point.
on seeing Tom Hiddleston in these films, but I would love to see a Tom Hiddleston in these
Well,
films.
that's a good
That's what I'm
that's a good
saying.
point. No, I think you make a really good point. I think it depends also on how large a role his Loki has in season 2 and how large a role season 2 of Loki plays into everything else that's going to happen with Kang and and everything in the future. We
Yes.
didn't hear anything about Jonathan Majors returning for Loki 2.
No, we did not. The only
Okay.
stage presence he had during Hall H
Was Ant-Man.
was Ant-Man. He came out,
Right.
and that was
One
really
would
it.
assume since his character's name is in the title, he will return for
I would
Avengers.
like to think so.
Avengers 5 as well, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean and then the possibility of what Secret Wars could be,
Yeah.
you could have all 3 of Spider-Mans who have been established. You could
Ooh, I
even
would love.
cast a new Spider-Man and play that. I mean, you could do all sorts of things.
There's a lot.
Um, Steve
Yeah.
Rogers could return.
Oh, I
Now,
don't know.
would they want to do? Well, wouldn't be. But Chris could return as a Steve Rogers from another universe.
He could. It's always
Whether he'd
possible.
want to do that or not is a whole
Right.
other
Conversation.
thing. They
Yes.
may want to introduce another version of a Captain America, which
From like a
could
different
maybe,
multiverse.
but that could be an Isaiah version,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Or something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I think Marvel will have the opportunity to really play with multiple versions of characters in a way that we saw them only kind of hint at in Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Wow. This is why I feel like personally, in my own personal opinion, that Marvel won Hall H this year with all of
100%.
those, just all the announcements, all the speculations the fan gets to
I
have,
think
and it was,
everyone lost, but they won. Do you know what I mean? Like, I also think, like, had they not announced Phase 5 and 6,
Mm,
everything would have been. Do you know what I mean? It would all be somewhat disappointing because
yeah,
all DC or Marvel would have done is really show us the trailers for your stuff that's coming out this year
yeah,
by
but they went.
including 18 logo posters for projects, and we all remember being there when Phase 3 was announced, and we're still waiting for the Inhumans movie. So
Oh my
things
god.
could change,
Yes, things
but
shift. Yeah,
shift, yeah. But just those announcements certainly made Marvel the presentation of the weekend for sure.
absolutely. And with that, that wraps up our discussion for now for all of San Diego Comic Con. I'm sure in future episodes of Pop Council, we will circle back to some of these some of these stories, just because things are always changing, moving, and developing. So if you enjoyed our conversation today, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button on this video. It gets us more visibility on YouTube. And thank you so much to Jami for hanging out with me today to talk all the San Diego Comic Con things. Where can everybody find you and all the articles that you did during Comic Con?
Yeah, you can check us out on moviephone.com. You can get your tickets and reviews and listings and all of that and interviews right there on moviephone.com.
There you go. And for me, you can find me across all socials at Wendy Lee Zany. No spaces there in between all of those. You can find me on YouTube on the Movie Couple channel, of course, here every Monday, 11 a.m. PT, except for today, which was 12. But normally 11 a.m. PT on Monday on Pop Council with Jami. So we leave you here with this final gorgeous look at what is coming up for Phase 6 for Marvel. And we will see you next Monday for more Pop Council. Bye, everyone.